team that we saw last year, which become unwatchable. The starters are not pitching like they were earlier. Well, the starters in the first 2 months of the season were pitching out of their minds, I feel. I think we're seeing more of what they really are now. Carpenter's 1-7 now.
Awesome.
With an ERA of 4.47. He's the staff ace, and he's not showing any signs of coming out of it.
And he kills himself every game, too, though. I feel bad about him, but he could have laid down that bunt.
Well, there's a lot.
But what did he do?
Yeah.
He popped it up and double play. All right, good job. You could have helped yourself, but you didn't.
He's not
How many years have you been playing? You can't lay down a bunt still?
He's
really?
not the Carpenter 3 or 4 years ago. I still think he has stuff left in him, but he just has got to come out of this funk because the rest of the starters are not going deep, which forces the bullpen now to get overworked. And now we have La Russa. Now here's where I'll get on La Russa. I don't know what this deal is, and it was brought up by other people in St. Louis. Why are they hanging on to Franklin? They basically have him handcuffed to the bench. They won't pitch him. He's only pitched 25 innings this year, and I'll bet you 17 or 18 of them were in the first month of the season. Yet, so that
and he gives up a home run every time.
And now your bullpen is short. It's being worn out.
Sanchez is on the DL now.
Sanchez on the DL. Bring someone up. Let Boggs pitch a little bit. They're even talking about putting McClellan back in the bullpen, and then Lance Lynn as a starter. Well, no, drop Franklin. Outright release him. There's no reason to hold on to him. He's not doing the job. Why La Russa hangs on to him, I'll never know.
Because he loves his veterans. But this last time, he blamed it on us. He
Yeah,
blamed it on the fans. He didn't pitch Franklin because he thought the fans would get on him.
And
he was in D.C.
Yeah, I know.
Where are the fans at? The fans aren't in D.C.
It doesn't.
And since when does Tony care about the fans anyway? When he first walked into St. Louis, he got rid of their favorite player ever, Ozzie Smith. Did he care about the fans then?
Yeah, he wanted Royce Clayton to be the shortstop.
Let's play Rolls-Royce Clayton, who stunk it up forever, right?
And the other problem is...
That allowed Jeff Blauser to make the All-Star team for the first time in 13 years. That's what Tony did. Yeah, because he cares about the fans.
See, this team misses... I'm sorry. This team misses David Freese so bad, people don't realize what he does for this team. He gets back in there, it's going to help some. The other problem is Pujols is still, I don't care. Yeah, he went on a little of a home run tear. Pujols is still not back. He's about ready to drop in the 260s in average. He's hitting 271. His on-base percentage is 350. It usually is around 420. His slugging percentage is 484. It's always been around 630. I'm sorry. Yeah, he'll hit you the home runs every so often, but he's not doing anything else. And his fielding now is also atrocious. He's got 9 errors. Listen, these people who think Pujols is back and he's going on a tear, I'm still waiting for it.
Does he need a break?
I don't know.
He's played every game but one this year, correct?
And
if someone's struggling, though, he babies Colby along, sits him on the bench if he's struggling. Lance Berkman, he's up there in age, right? So let's sit him a couple of days. Yachty only plays 5 times a week. I mean, I know he's Albert, but he's not Superman anymore.
And you're missing...
he's 35, right?
At least. And then, of course, you're missing your backup catcher, who I thought was doing a good job. You're missing Craig now with a broken kneecap, who was doing a great job. I think John Jay's your center fielder, and you put Rasmus on the bench.
I put him on the block.
This is why trade him. They're talking about getting J.C. Romero from the Phillies to help in the bullpen.
Oh, because the 2 lefties they have now, Miller and Talader, are just atrocious. Left-handed hitters are hitting over 400 against them. Yeah, that's great. But they've got to do something with the bullpen.
And if you put McClellan,
the first thing is release Franklin, Tony. Don't worry about the fans. The fans will love you if you're releasing.
Yeah, there you go. If you really care about the fans, send them packing.
Eric,
where's my blood pressure medicine?
I'll hang out. No, this is why I always say you can't read too much into the beginning of a baseball season. Going into this year, some of us, not Stark, but some of us were kind of down on the Cardinals going into this season. I remember saying they had some bad juju going around. Then you go up to this hot start, and the pitchers, like you said, Mark, are playing out of their minds. They're playing better baseball than they're actually capable of playing. And so now we're starting to see the real Cardinals. It's leveling out.
7 straight losses?
Yeah, it's leveling out because they probably got a ton of wins early that, maybe they weren't good enough to get. So it's leveling itself back out now. You're starting to see the real team. And now you have this, there's, kind of a division between Pujols and the fans. It's underlying, maybe not as strong as it was early. It's there's always been a division between La Russa and the fans, but now it seems to be getting even larger. So it's
LaRussa and Colby have never got along.
This could end up being a very disappointing season for the Cardinals, and we got so excited early because they started hot, but 162 games is a lot of games.
Crazy thing is, only still a game back, though. Eric's pick in the division, Milwaukee now in first place.
Algonquin for the good land.
The Phillies are still in first. The Phillies now are easily the best team in the National League, in my opinion. You got the Phillies, then Milwaukee and San Francisco up there. Arizona, they're playing out of their minds. They're a half game back. When you look in the American League right now, the West is awful, but Texas is leading that division right now. Seattle is in second. My Tigers have caught up to Cleveland now in the Central, and the Red Sox are probably going to run away with the East at some point, I would think.
How are the White Sox doing?
They're 5.5 back. They're playing much better than they did at the beginning of the season. The team that's been tanking lately, besides the Cardinals, is the Marlins are now in last place.
And then lost their best pitcher on the DL for 60 days, Josh Johnson. That's just bad news for the Marlins.
So they're done.
And the bad thing is, with all this now, and I know we don't have the time, then they're talking about this realignment. This is unbelievable.
Next
week. Two 15-team divisions. Oh, yeah, that'll work fine.
Next week on Sports 101, realignment
talk. Yeah.
I'm not opposed to the realignment, but you got to make sure you do it the right way.
Yeah, right.
You got to make sure you do it the right way.
Talking about putting Houston in the American League and just having two 15-team divisions. That's not. You're not going to get fans to pay for a 13th place team to go see. It's not going to happen. It's just ridiculous.
I like it.
All right. Well,
they're not getting fans to pay for anything right now.
Yeah, I was going to say it doesn't really matter.
It's $9 for a beer and $6.75 for nachos. It's rough, and $50 a ticket.
Hard to blame the weather now.
Yep, for sure. We'll talk realignment next week. We'll talk a lot more sports as well. This is Sports 101 on Sports Radio 1450, brought to you by Country Financial. Big thanks to Matt Davis. Give him a call at 483